G'day guys, welcome back to the farm on Farming Simulator 22. It's now August and we've got a little bit of wool there ready to be moved over, but there's no rush on that because we've still got some cotton being processed. So we'll get that moved over when the time comes. We've got some canola that has been produced, so that's going to keep on going. We'll sell that when we need to or the time is right. A couple of pallets here of fabric. So we'll get these shifted across because we need the clothes production to be always busy, at least if we can. And that's going to be enough to make one more pallet of clothing right there. So we're in August and that means it's time to make sure all of our fields that can be ready are ready for the next planting season. So today we actually have to plant, I think it's the canola that needs planting today. But we will get every field that we harvested in the previous episode recultivated and probably one coat of fertilizer down on all fields, and that just takes the workload down a little bit for next time, so we can leave that there and that will start processing those, and that'll make another pallet of clothing. How much have we got around the back here? We've got a couple of pallets, so we're going to have 2 or 3 more being produced. So we'll jump into the class tractor. We've got the cultivator hooked up already, and we'll start by cultivating the wheat field here. That'll be planted in the next day. The main priority today is getting that canola field cultivated, planted and fertilized, so that's a pretty big job in itself. And we also have the small field that we'll need to cultivate and get a coat of fertilizer down. So a pretty busy day ahead. But we'll get it done, no rush, but we'll work hard. Well, there we go, that's pretty much the wheat field all taken care of. I've missed a couple of spots, but I'll go back over and I'll make sure we get those on the way out. And then we'll send this class tractor over to the canola field and that can get started over there. And we will begin laying some slurry down over this field, and that will be one coat of fertilizer all done. And then once we've planted, we'll apply a second coat, but we have to give it a month before we can reapply a second load. So there's just a couple of little bits. Yeah, it's just that bit and this one here. And then we should be good to get our move on, and we'll get on over to the canola field, and I'll probably put this on a worker and I'll jump into the Massey Ferguson and we'll start spreading some slurry over on this field. Alright, here we are. So we can get this thing set off on a worker while we do some of the slurry spreading ourselves. That way, by the time we've done this field, that cultivator will be quite well ahead. So in the sale, oh nice, got a couple of tractors. That's a little bit low on the horsepower side. Our slurry tanker requires 165 horsepower, so even this is a little bit low, but we'll give it a go. So the Fendt looks good, but it's not ideal. That Landini looks good. Quite expensive though, isn't it? Well, we'll give the Massey Ferguson a go, and if we have to, then we've got the money, so we could purchase that Landini, and that will definitely be able to run that slurry tanker. Wow, this thing really did struggle coming up the hill carrying this load, so it's definitely not going to be going up the hill spreading any fertilizer. It's going to be a downhill job, which is fine but it just takes a little bit longer. So if it can't perform well enough, then I'm thinking that we are actually going to have to upgrade and get ourselves that Landini. That seems like the best option right now. Well, we're just about at the end of the tank load, which has done pretty well. It's done 75% of the field, so pretty happy with that. But this tractor does struggle. It handles it just about. I don't know how well it would handle doing the canola field because it's on much more of a slope. So I am a little bit worried about that. It's going to be a little bit of an expense, but I do feel like we're going to have to buy ourselves that new tractor today. Well, there we are, pretty much finished with the wheat field. Just missed a little spot here on our left. Don't know how we missed that. It's a little bit of a bump in the road, I suppose. We'll just make sure that we get that covered over. And then the next job, I think, for the Massey, we still can't get it. Just see if we can now. Okay, there we go. So that field has 50% fertilizer put down. Once we've done the planting, we'll maybe come through and spread some manure or slurry again. We need to get this thing over, refilled, and we're going to get this Massey hooked up and we'll get planting on that canola. Alright, so I got the seeder hooked up to the Massey. I'm going to send a worker down towards our sunflower field where we still have a couple of pallets, just odd pallets of seed. So if I can just get him to drive there, we can pick up whatever's there, and anything after that, then we'll maybe have to take a trip to the store, and we are just going to straight out buy this Landini. Engine wise, should we take the upgrade of the horsepower? We probably should. Front loader, I don't really think we need it. Got forklift and a telehandler. Probably go with those black rims and this metallic paint. And number plate, I don't want a number plate on there, so we'll get that. We will purchase that. It's a big expense, but it's definitely needed. We're going to need it eventually anyway. We may as well purchase it now. So here it is, the new Landini 7210. There's also a couple of new products down here. We've got a grape trailer. We're going to need that when we come to the process. And we've got ourselves a new milk tanker as well. And it looks like our AI worker is having a bit of trouble here, so let's just check on him. Yeah, okay. Alright, maybe I'll just drive myself there and get this loaded up and I'll take care of it from there and we'll get on to that planting and maybe a worker can handle that. Well, here she is then, the new tractor and our new milk wagon. The reason I've got the new milk wagon is because the other one is too small for a main part, but actually we're struggling to sell all the milk that we carry, so we can't fully get rid of everything. So if we can just store some in here until a time when we can afford to actually purchase the dairy or the bakery, then at least we're going to have less trouble storing the milk that we have. Alright, we've got the Landini hooked up. We're on the slurry again. Massey Ferguson's just there waiting for us, but I just want to get one run of slurry spread and then I can set that worker off with the planter and he can get seeding. But I don't want to have to get in his way or him be in my way. You know what these AI workers are like, they're not very good. They do a job and they do it alright, but you can't rely on them. So if I can get this has got a much larger spread. So we'll get that spread out first and then we can refill and carry on, but we'll get him hooked up and planting and we should be able to finish this field pretty quickly, and the cultivator's doing very well. very good upgrade actually, purchasing that cultivator. So we'll just jump into our Massey Ferguson and we'll get him set off. He can start working. He's got to go up and down about 4 times to catch up to 1 Whitworth. So we'll just leave him be and we can continue. Cultivator's actually almost finished, so once he's done that he's going to be over to the oat field and we'll carry on with the slurry over here and then we'll chase him again, but we're actually not chasing him too hard, which is good, not on his tail that much. So let's see how well this new Landini performs. Hopefully it's a little bit better with the hills. Not too sure if it's going to be cost effective for it to be going uphill if it's wasting slurry because it spreads at a constant rate, but if it's coming downhill it's obviously a bit more efficient to be using it like that. So we'll just see how we go. Alright, we're just coming to the end of it now, probably on the last run. The Landini's doing quite well, running down the hill. You can see we're doing 16 kilometers. Coming up the hill we're doing about 10, so it's not very efficient. So the best way to save on slurry is obviously to come up to the top and then run down to the bottom. But that's a little bit of a time issue. Now I think we'd need a very high powered tractor to overcome that, so we just have to sacrifice that unfortunately, and we just have to spend a little bit more time going up and down, but that is what it is. It doesn't really matter that much to me, it's only time. So we'll just finish up this last little bit here. Okay, we've missed a patch again. There's little bumps. This slurry spreader does not like any type of bump, but that's okay. So the cultivator is already over at the oat field and he's continuing on, and we'll try and spread what we can here, but it doesn't seem to be working, so that's fine. But we'll go and chase down that cultivator and we'll get that oat field all fertilized as well. Well, there we go. That's all of our fields prepped up and ready for being planted. They won't be planted in today's episode because, well, the canola is, but the rest of them can wait. I think the wheat is tomorrow, and I'm not too sure when the oats need to be planted. I'm not sure how many rounds of oats we want to do, but we'll just keep stocking up into the silo, and then when we come to doing the cereal, then it's all there ready for us. But we need to get back on over to the cow shed now. And we're back here at the cow shed. We'll just leave a full tank loaded up, ready to be used whenever we need it, and we'll park that next to our manure spreader. Probably would be nice to get another shed down here. Do have a lot of implements that are just kind of sitting out now, and that little milk tanker there will get sold eventually. It's probably not worth very much, but we'll get what we can for it maybe. If it's not worth it, we'll just keep it. We may end up needing it. But we've got some hay here ready to be baled up. It's all mowed and rowed, so we'll just get on with that. I've kind of feel like I should have done another round of silage because I need to make some more money. Seems like we've got a lot of money in the bank, but we do need to purchase some stuff, especially now that we've bought this tractor. That's 70 something thousand that's disappeared. So we'll leave this as hay, I suppose, and the next round will be silage. I think we're pretty good for grass. The sheep don't really take much, so they'll be fine, but we'll get all this baled up and then we'll see where we're at after that. And there we go, that's all of our baling done. There's a couple of little scraps lying around. We'll try and pick up as much as possible. It's not going to be enough for a whole new bale though, so we don't need to be too fussy. It might get picked up on the next time when we do the silage. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll go park our baler up. That can stay in the shed where it normally sits, and the Landini may as well stay down here as well. And I think we'll check on our Massey Ferguson and see how the worker's done with the planting. Hopefully he's finished that by now. He's been costing us a few dollars today, but it's a job that needs doing, so don't mind that cost. We've got a lot of work done today, which is really good. Okay, I've overturned that a little bit. The thing I don't really like about these Landinis is it takes a little while to kick it into gear. When you press forward or reverse, it seems to take a little while, but it's got decent horsepower, so it's a fairly good purchase, I think. So what are you up to? Reversing all the way down the hill to do what? I think I'll take over from here and I'll just finish this little strip that runs up the side. He would probably reverse all the way down and say he couldn't do it anyway, so I might as well finish. And he is done for the day. So it's still early in the day, but we've been playing for quite a while now. It's only on ×2 speed at the moment. I normally like to play at ×5, but we do have a lot of work to do, so can't necessarily get it all done before the sun goes down. So I'll just slow the time down a little bit when we're busy. Other than that, I'll probably just play it 5 times, otherwise we're finishing the day at 10 o'clock in the morning, like we are probably going to today, but that's alright. So canola is planted. I think wheat will be planted tomorrow. Not too sure about the oats still, but we'll get that planted as well when the time comes. And we're going to have to obviously harvest sunflowers, olives and grapes. That's all coming up in the next 2 months, so we're still very busy at this time of year. And then obviously winter is just selling all of our products, so still plenty to do. And I think while we're here, might just give this tractor and the seeder a quick wash. May as well keep our stuff clean while we have it, make it look good at least. Both of these implements together are worth absolutely nothing because they've been very well used. We've had them pretty much since the beginning, I think. Definitely the tractor. The seeder is probably from not far off from the beginning, so we will need to be looking at maybe purchasing a larger one. We'll probably just keep this one handy though, because it's only worth about 1,000 or 2,000. So we'll leave that there, and we'll just have a quick look at all of our fields and make sure everything is all good. So we want the fertilized state. So yeah, 1 coat on each field. Could do with a coat on the grass just before that gets ready to harvest. So we're doing pretty well. Got everything done that we needed to do today. Don't know what's going on with this guy's field. A little bit of fertilization happening there. So we've got some money. So let's think about buying some new fields. Maybe 1 or 2. Don't really know what we can afford. That's a decent sized field. This area down here with this field here and this field here, I think those are the fields you start with if you play on easy mode. Comes with a house and a yard. So I'm thinking I might buy those and I might just plow up the whole yard area. I don't want the cotton field today, but we can buy that and we'll plow up all of that area that's like yard, and then we can just make one nice big field out of that. I think that might be a good thing to do, and that gives us the sugar beet that we did want to buy anyway. So we're kind of all winning here. We're going to have to obviously pay to harvest that, but it'll be worth it in the long run. So we'll take the car down there and we'll have a look at our new plot of land and see what it looks like from above. Well, here we are, just approaching the new land, and we've got a building here. So this is what you get when you start in easy mode. There is actually a yard and some silos right here, but obviously we're on hard mode, so they're not here. But strange that the house is. I don't really want the house. It would be nice to have a proper house, but we still have our trailer. So I think we'll sell this house because I want to use the land that it's on, and we get 78,700 back for that. So that pretty much means that one of those fields that we just bought is free, or the tractor that we got is free. So that's not too bad. That puts our money up. So we've still got 144,000, which is pretty good. So as you can see, this whole area here is pretty much the size of a field. So if we plow it all up and extend this field here, which is 100% fertilized, so that's a good bonus. And we'll check on the other sugar beet. Hopefully that's 100% fertilized. But we can make one massive field out of all of this, so that's going to be a massive boost for us. Well, here's what it looks like from above, and it is a massive piece of land that we've just purchased. It's almost can't even see it in the distance. So where our car is and the house was, we'll probably get rid of these trees, and then we'll plow up all of that. And I might do that. Well, we'll wait for the quiet time. Probably going to be during the winter, where we can grab a plow and do that, and we'll get the sugar beet all harvested up. And then we'll think about what we're going to plant into this, and do we make it 2 fields or one massive field? I haven't quite decided how we're going to play that yet, but we can definitely do something good with this land. So that's a massive investment. It didn't really cost us that much either, and we can also buy the other fields around it. So eventually this area will be very profitable for us. So we've spent a lot of our money, we've got a lot of our fields ready. We'll get busy with this area in the next couple of months, and we've still got a little bit of work to do coming up before the end of the year. So we're all busy, we're all good. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.